Hello and welcome to the Live Baked and Balanced. I am so freaking excited to be here today. My name is Heather Nicole, and I am a certified life coach, EFT practitioner, inner child coach, and I am just your weed connoisseur, and I am here to help you quit self-sabotaging, help you build your confidence, and today I am here to help you break up with burnout. So I would like first and foremost to thank the House of Peach for hosting this and allowing me this space to share with their audience and connect with all of you guys. So this is going to be coming live to you the second Saturday of every month. So make sure you guys have liked the page, that you follow the YouTube channel, that you follow my pages, and I'll give you all the links and all that good stuff and where to find me at the end. But make sure you are connected. I want to get to know everybody and connect with you guys on a deep level. So if anything that you hear today resonates with you and you want to take it a step further, you want to chat about it, please feel free to reach out to me. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok all the time, very accessible. So feel free to reach out. That's what I'm here for. I want to help. I want to help you elevate and change your life. So we have so much to talk about today in regards to burnout. And I want to just jump right in. All right. Because I know that so many of you have experienced this at one time or another in your life where you have felt burnt out. All right. Right. Like there's just so much going on all the fucking time, right? Like with just life and our jobs and our family life, our relationship, our kids, right? Just all the responsibilities, right? It can be overwhelming. I get it. I've been there, but I want to help you get out of that cycle. I want to help you break up with those patterns and get out of burnout and really step into a more regulated you who feels powerful and strong every single day of her life. Okay. So we're going to start with talking about what the fuck is burnout. Okay. So most of us just kind of walk around thinking that we're just really tired and that we're just moody and, we just are irritable all the time. But no, babe, that is burnout. You are burnt out. All right. And this isn't just exhaustion, right? This is like emotional depletion, right? Like you can't even fathom processing emotions. This is like a cognitive shutdown. And it's really your nervous system on a loop of like, let's do more. And your soul is like, please, like, let me rest. Okay. It's just like this clashing of things. And it's not a flaw, right? A lot of us are like, oh, there's something wrong with me. Like, why can't I handle this? Everybody else handles it so well, or so we think, but everybody else is struggling too. So, this isn't a flaw. This doesn't mean that you're broken. This is just like a system crash, right? But we're going to get you out of it. We're going to get you out of it. But if you've ever felt like you're always tired, even though you've slept, you have no freaking patience with anybody, right? You're irritable all the time. You're not interested in the things that you used to be, the things that you used to love. You don't feel like doing them anymore. Maybe you're feeling numb or checked out or just like emotionally flat. Or you feel guilty when you rest. That, babe, is burnout. All right. And I'm sure, like, let me know in the chat. Like, let me know. Tell me here. Do you relate to that? I know that a lot of you guys do. So why do we get burnt out? Why does burnout affect us so freaking deeply? Why does burnout make us feel like we just want to crawl up in bed and not do anything for days, right? The real culprit here isn't your overpacked calendar that we all seem to have. No, there are 4 other culprits, right? So the first one is people pleasing. Because when you are out here saying yes out of guilt, you are overgiving, you are worried that you're going to disappoint people, you are depleting your energy. Okay. Every time that you are out here doing something for other people that you don't really want to do or you really don't have the energy for, you're just depleting your energy more. All right. Another culprit of burnout is perfectionism, right? So many of us hold ourselves to this impossible standard, right? Where we're constantly pushing ourselves, we're constantly going above and beyond, and it just never feels like enough, right? So we're always going, going, going. Like I struggle with this. And this leads to emotional exhaustion and burnout. Another culprit is when we suppress our emotions. Yes, babe, when you are pushing those emotions down, when you are ignoring them, when you are numbing out, when you are just over functioning, that emotion is getting bottled up within your body. And eventually, guess what? It's going to fucking explode. Right? Like, how many of you have been there before where you just are stressed with work, you're frustrated with your home life, you have bills that are overdue, so you're stressed about that. And then, maybe your kid says something that you're like, what the fuck? And you just snap out, right? Have you been there? I have been there. It's okay. We've all been there. Or maybe you snap out at a stranger, right? Maybe you start popping off at the poor fast food worker, or you start having road rage, right? This is your emotions just overflowing because they have nowhere else to go. So you're throwing them at other people. All right? That is a huge sign of burnout. And suppressing those emotions is going to make you exhausted. It's going to make you exhausted because they're all just getting stuck in your body, right? This is why we need somatic practices and EFT tapping, and to journal and to talk and to let that shit out. Because when it's suppressed in our body, it causes just havoc, right? And we don't want that. None of us want that. The fourth culprit of burnout is unconscious programming, which I know every single one of us has at least one belief in there that's keeping us stuck in a cycle, right? There was something in our past that taught us that our worth was based on what we did or how much we helped or how hard we tried, right? So we feel like, which connects to some of the other things that we've said, we feel like we're not doing enough, right? So then we feel guilty, we feel shame, and then we do more and we don't rest and we ignore our emotions and we ignore everything that's going on within us. And guess what? You end up burnt the fuck out, right? So let's talk a little bit about the science behind burnout so that we can really understand where this is coming from. Like what's happening in our body when we are burnt out. Well, first and foremost, your nervous system is stuck in sympathetic mode. And this is your fight or flight response. And that just means that you are ready to pop off. You're irritable. You have a very short temper. That's that flight mode. And then the flight mode is where you're trying to avoid everything. You're trying to escape, right? So you get stuck in that. So when conflict arises, you are either ready to like go to war with somebody or you are just trying to flee. All right. It's one or the other, right? There is no middle ground where you're like, oh, let me think about this. Let me pause and think about this. No, you are like reacting and you're just ready to go fight or flight. The other thing that's happening is that your brain is flooded with cortisol, and that is the stress hormone. So that stress is just causing more stress because it's releasing more cortisol in your brain. Okay. So you are literally causing more stress to your body. The third thing that's happening when you're in burnout is that your prefrontal cortex, which is your decision making center in your brain, it slows down. So then you're like, shit, I don't want to make decisions. I don't want to do this. I don't want to, or should I do this? Like you're questioning yourself. Like it slows all the way down. Not to mention your digestion is affected. Your libido is affected. We don't want that. Your immune center takes a hit, right? You're basically running on survival mode in a cute fucking outfit with your hair done, right? But this is the thing I need you to understand. Everyone has been there. You are not broken and you are not alone. All right? We have all been stuck at this at some point or another. It's unfortunately normal. Right? So when you stack all of that with the chronic stress, with the emotional denial, with the people pleasing, and no fucking rest, right? Because our brain's going a million miles an hour. So our sleep is either disrupted or we have a really hard time falling asleep, right? It's more than just burnout. It's a slow burn that turns into a total fucking meltdown, right? And then we shut down. And I don't know about you, but I don't have time to shut down, right? I have too much going on. So rather than go, 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 we have to learn how to reset. We have to learn how to take a breath. We have to learn how to rest and it be okay and not feel guilty, stressed, or shameful about resting. Okay. So I want to ask you a couple of questions. Number one, have you ever felt guilty for resting? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. Okay. Do you feel like if you stop, everything around you is going to fall apart? And the last one, have you ever said that you're fine when you are, in fact, anything but fine? Right? I have. If you said yes to any of those, then babe, you are probably burnt out. All right. And this isn't about blame. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm not trying to judge you or make you feel shameful about it. This is about awareness. Okay. Now, you can tell by the name, or if you're watching this on one of my pages, and you're a little bit more familiar with me than maybe some of the House of Peach audiences so far, then you guys know that I've done a little bit of a rebrand, right? Your girl is known as the high priestess of healing, right? And we got the Baked and Balanced show now. So, just as the name implies, we are healing while baked. We are finding our balance while baked. So, I want to talk a little bit about how you can use cannabis to help you with your awareness, right? Because the thing with cannabis is that it slows you down, right? So it gives you a chance to actually notice what's going on with you. It gives you a chance to notice your emotions. It gives you a chance to notice how fucking tired you might be. It also softens your nervous system, right? And that allows you to have space to kind of feel what's going on. And it also allows you to reconnect with your body, right? And that's my favorite thing about the cannabis rituals that I've been doing is it really gets me in my body and helps me feel so much deeper. So I want to take another quick break to ask you another question, right? What part of you is feeling like you have to earn that rest, right? I want you to really think about that. So now that we know that we can use cannabis, and we're going to get more into how to use that in a little bit. And we know that that burnout really isn't just like a fucking vibe, right? We don't want to live there, right? We need to talk about 3 of the different types of burnout so we can get a little bit more familiar. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure my notes are straight here. Okay. So we're going to get into how to fix all this. We're going to get into how to overcome burnout. We're going to get into how to reset, how to reboot, how to revitalize our lives. But we have to talk about the 3 types so we can, again, further understand what exactly is going on with us. Okay. So the first one is physical burnout. Okay. And this is where we are basically stuck in like constant exhaustion, right? It's that body aches, the muscle tension. It's the hard time sleeping, right? Even though you feel like all you want to do is sleep. It's headaches, it's gut issues, it's lower immunity. It's craving sugar, craving caffeine, right? Feeling like you need those things to function, then you are physically burnt out. Okay. This is your body being like, I am done carrying this emotional debt. But your mind is like, we have 17 tabs open and no time to crash. So you better keep fucking going. Right. And we are literally grinding through the pain. Okay. That's physical burnout. You are like, I don't care. I got to keep going. Yeah. My body wants me to lay the fuck down. Oh, well, I got too much going on. Okay. The second type of burnout is emotional burnout. And this is where we are numbing, where we're overusing cannabis, right? We're not intentionally using cannabis, we're overusing it to numb out, to ignore the world, right? Emotional burnout looks like having emotional mood swings and just crying for quote unquote no reason, right? Have you ever been in that place where you were just crying and you're like, I don't know why I'm crying right now, but I feel like I need to cry? Yes, that is emotional burnout, babe. All right. This is the anxiety, the irritability, that hopelessness feeling, right? This is that overreacting to small things, right? Maybe you're like running late for something. You're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Right? You are emotionally burnt out. Even replying to a text feels like it could be too much when you're in this fucking state. The third type of burnout is a mental burnout, a creative burnout, if you will, right? This is where the brain fog comes into, the forgetfulness, right? That decision fatigue where you're like, I don't want to have to even decide what's for dinner today, right? It's that lack of motivation, the lack of focus. You just have zero creativity, zero inspiration, and everything just feels overwhelming. Even the fun stuff that you used to find joy in, right? This is where you're staring at your computer at a blank screen and you're like, I just have no thoughts coming through my brain right now, right? The creativity is gone. That's that mental creative burnout. Okay. And the thing is, like, burnout isn't always obvious. That's why I'm bringing all of this to your attention. And I want to talk about what it actually looks like because we're not taught this shit, right? We're not taught what burnout actually looks like because it could be crying in the shower, right? Feeling like you're just failing at life and then getting out and going and taking care of your littles and just being like, oh, everything is great, right? And just ignoring shit. It can also look like completely crushing your to-do list, but you still feel empty as hell afterwards or feel like you still have more that you need to do, right? You can't take that moment to actually just be proud of yourself and acknowledge how well you're doing, right? And the sneakiest form of burnout is in the high functioning woman, because it is embedded in our DNA that we need to people please. We need to be taking care of everybody else before ourselves, right? We're taught that it's selfish to take care of ourselves. So all of those beliefs, remember that unconscious programming we talked about, it's pushing us to do all this and pushing us even more towards the burnout, right? And again, this isn't about calling you out. This isn't about making you feel bad. This isn't about blaming you. This is about bringing awareness to it. This is about you taking a step back and being like, damn, I really need to figure this shit out, right? Because you being in this state of burnout is holding you back. It's holding you back from being your most powerful self. It's holding you back from your strength. It's holding you back from your full potential because you are not able to function at the highest capacity when you are burnt out in any of these ways. Okay. Now, the thing with burnout too is like, it's not always going to look like a breakdown, right? I think a lot of us look at it and we're like, oh, like when somebody's having an emotional breakdown, you're like, oh my gosh, they are like so burnt out. They need to relax. It doesn't always look like that, right? It could look like the overachiever, somebody who's just working all the fucking time and never slows down. It could look like the mom who's always taking care of everybody else and doesn't take care of herself, but nobody really notices. right? It could be that strong friend that never asks for help. But again, we don't realize like, oh, she's good. Like she always takes care of her shit. Like she's fine. That doesn't mean that she's not burnt out because she keeps going, right? It can also look like the perfectionist who always wants control. If you are running on empty, but you are still showing up because you feel like if you stop, everything's going to fall apart. So you just keep fucking going because you're so worried about everything falling apart. Hey, burnout. You're burning yourself out, right? And again, because this is about awareness and learning about ourselves today, we're going to ask some more questions because curiosity is how we grow. Curiosity is how we learn about ourselves. All right. So, some more questions for you to consider. Where am I pushing through when I should be resting? Where are you pushing through where you should be resting? What symptoms have I been normalizing because I think that's just life, right? So think about some of the things that I've talked about so far today. What are some of those things that are showing up for you that you've normalized? Because society has kind of normalized it, right? Because we've normalized this hustle culture. So where in your life are you normalizing these symptoms because you think that that's just how things are? That's just how people live. What are you afraid will happen, babe, if you slow down, if you stop, if you don't do that thing, what are you scared is going to happen? Because if it's like, oh my gosh, if I don't take care of the kids tonight, then they won't get their bath, they won't get fed, they won't do anything. Why is your partner not helping you? And for the single moms out there, look, I get it. I've been a single mom for a decent part of my life. There's still time you can still squeeze in time. I don't want that excuse. Okay. I do not want that excuse. So what are you afraid will happen if you actually slow down? Right. And I want you to pause and I want you to take a deep breath and I want you to let these questions resonate and I want you to let whatever comes up come up for you. Because the truth is, this is where healing starts. Okay. It's in these small moments where we build some awareness around what's going on. All right. I'm going to rapid fire here another last list of some sneaky signs of burnout, right? Because again, I want you guys to really notice these things in your life so that you can start picking up on them so that you can start making the change. All right. So number one, you get ragey over small things. Been there. You feel disconnected from your body and from your emotions. Maybe you're scrolling endlessly, but you just don't feel better. You still just feel empty at the end of that. You can't make decisions, even the small ones, right? You procrastinate all the time because you're so overwhelmed. Maybe you fantasize about running away or quitting everything. I've done that. Or you feel like nothing just ever fills you up anymore, right? These are some other sneaky signs of burnout. All right. So if you've been realizing slowly throughout this that you have been in a constant state of burnout, then this is your invitation to opt out of survival mode, right? And we're going to opt in to rejuvenating ourselves. We're going to opt in to getting baked and balanced, okay? Because we're not just here to hustle ourselves into the fucking grave, right? We're here to heal. We're here to soften, and we're here to reconnect. All right. So let's start walking through some of the actual tools that you can use to help you get out of this cycle of burnout. Okay. So let me get a quick sip of water here. All right. So tool number one, this is called discharge. Don't just decompress. Okay. So we are taught that we have to relax after stress, but your body needs more than a fucking nap, babe. Okay. It needs a release, right? Because burnout is that stuck emotion within you, right? It's that unreleased stress. So, in order to get out of that fight or flight energy, right, you got to move it. You have to discharge it. All right. So, I want you guys to shake your bodies. All right. Shimmy, 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 shake your arms, right? If you need to freaking stand up and shake, like just let it out. Move your fucking body. Move. Let those emotions flow through you. All right. This is called a somatic release, right? Let out whatever sounds come out while you're doing it. Like, oh, like just let it out, right? This tells your body to be safe. Okay. It's letting all of those emotions flow and move instead of being stuck in your body. All right. This is wild and it's a little bit primitive, but it is so fucking effective. All right. So that is your first tool. Super simple. All right. Whenever you start feeling like, oh, I'm just like got so much going on. I'm so frustrated. I need to like do something. Go stand and just shake your body. All right. You can even take it up a notch and like put on a power song, put on something that makes you feel really fucking good. Play that song, fucking dance to it, shake your body, right? And just let it out. It feels so good, right? It might look a little crazy, but it feels so freaking good. All right. So give it a try, right? I promise it's going to make you feel different. You're going to notice it. The second tool that I have for you is creating what I like to call a fuck that list, right? So a fuck that list is everything that we no longer have time for. Okay. So maybe you've been saying yes to shit that you don't really care about. Fuck that. We're not doing that no more. Right. Maybe you've been explaining yourself, over explaining when you really just want to say no. Fuck that. We're not over explaining anymore. Nope. Put that on the list. Right. Maybe you have been multitasking to try to prove your worth. Nope. Fuck that too. We are not doing that. We're not proving our worth anymore. Right. Or maybe you have been carrying other people's emotions around. Fuck that shit too. Nope. You only have the time and the energy for your own emotions, right? And if you are listening to this right now and this is resonating with you right now and you are experiencing burnout, then you definitely do not have the energy or the capacity to be carrying other people's emotions. So fuck that too. All right. Now, I am sure that y'all can find plenty of other things that you need to add to your fuck that list. All right. Because we are getting rid of that energy. We are letting go of that shit that we do not have time for anymore. All right. So create a fuck that list of all the things that you are letting go of, that you've been holding on to, that have been contributing to the burnout that you have experienced. All right. And you can even make this like a weekly ritual, like make your list. And then once a week, maybe on Sundays or Mondays or whatever makes sense to you, go check your list, right? And read back through it and ask yourself, where did you honor it and where did you abandon it? Right. And that will give you kind of that reset and that awareness of what you need to look at for the following week and what you really need to focus on. Right. So like maybe that previous week you were constantly saying yes to people and you're like, man, I have to stop doing that. I have to stop saying yes when I really want to say no. So the following week, that's what you focus on. Okay. All right. The third tool that I have for you to help you overcome burnout is to schedule your stillness. All right. Like we schedule everything else in our lives, right? We have to go to work. We plan ahead. We're like, all right, when I get home from work, I have to cook dinner. Then I'm going to have to clean the kitchen. Then I'm going to have to do some laundry. Then I have some extra, I got to clean up that family room tonight because that stuff's been sitting in that corner for a week now. I got to get that out of there. Like you plan out what you're going to do, but you're never like, you know what? For that 20 minutes after I get home from work, before I do all of the things, I'm going to sit, right? I like to call it a stillness window, right? Allow yourself a little window of time throughout your day to just sit and not do a damn thing. Don't scroll on your phone. Don't watch Netflix. We're not using this time to even journal or meditate or any of that. we're just sitting, right? And just allowing whatever comes, come. Now, if you are a cannabis user and you want to take this up a notch, smoke, but we're going to do it intentionally. And I have a whole thing at the end. We're going to talk some more about intentional cannabis use. But to introduce it a little bit, take a couple hits, right? We're not getting fucking blazed here, people. This is an intentional use. All right. So take an intentional hit, take some deep breaths, and just sit there for the 10 minutes. All right. And allow, again, whatever comes to you, come. Like, allow those emotions to come. Let them sit. Let them be there. Process them. Just think about it, right? Just sit still. All right. And I know a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. I have too much going on. I will feel guilty. Then you need to do it even more, because if you are feeling guilty about that, if that triggers you and brings anything up within you where you are feeling guilty or shameful for wanting to rest, then babe, you need it. You fucking need it, because stillness is not lazy, right? This is integration, right? You need time to process what the fuck is going on in your life, right? You can't just continue to just stack one thing on top of the other and hope that eventually it gets fucking better, right? Because it doesn't. Spoiler alert, but it doesn't, right? How many of us have been doing that and now we're in a state of complete burnout, right? And we feel overwhelmed, we feel exhausted because what we're doing isn't working. So why not change it up, right? Isn't the definition of insanity doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result? So why are we doing that with our life, right? This is your life, right? Integrate that stillness. Take a couple minutes and just be still each day, right? And if it really triggers you and really stresses you the fuck out, start small, okay? Do 5 minutes. And then work your way up to a 20-minute window where you are sitting still, not doing anything. All right. Over time, it's going to get easier. I promise it will get easier. All right. All right. The fourth tool that I have for you guys is to use burnout as a mirror and not as this like big, ugly monster in our life. All right. Most of us, as we've been talking about, shame ourselves for burnout, right? When really burnout is your deepest truth trying to get your attention. All right. It is your body waving a white flag and is like, hey, I need some help over here. Like, I'm surrendering. I need a break. Right. So what if, instead of looking at burnout as this big ugly thing, right? Because we live in this hustle culture, right? A lot of us are programmed to look at it that way, and we're ashamed to admit that we're burnt out because we feel like it means that we're weak or we're failing. No, what if we treated it as a messenger, right? What if we instead sat and got curious and asked ourselves, what am I doing that's not aligned, right? What expectations am I trying to live up to that aren't even mine, right? Because again, those unconscious programmed beliefs, what expectations did your parents, your grandparents, your guardians, your teachers, like whatever adults you had in your life, what expectations did they ingrain in you that you are trying to live up to that really aren't your expectations for yourself? Right? And ask, what part of me thinks that I need to suffer to be vulnerable, right? Why do we think that we have to accept this shit and that we have to just continue to push ourselves and push ourselves and push ourselves in order to be loved, in order to be enough, quote unquote, for people in our lives? Why? What part of you feels that way? Right? Stop making burnout this ugly monster, right? And start using it as a mirror so that you can figure out what's going on with you. That's the awareness. All right. This is the spiritual baddie way, right? And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. All right. And the last tool Tool number 5 that I have for you to overcome burnout is to design a nervous system reboot ritual. All right. So instead of waiting to crash out and recover, let's intentionally reboot ourselves. All right. So we're going to create a ritual that you can use and pull out anytime that you want when you are starting to feel fried. So here's a little example one. Okay. And again, this can look whatever way you want it to look. Do what feels good for you, because what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for you. Okay. So use what I'm saying, integrate other things that you've seen, listen to your body, listen to your intuition, and allow yourself to create a ritual that feels good to you. Okay. But again, here's an example of what you can use. So you're going to start by taking 5 grounding breaths. Okay. So this is where your feet are planted on the ground. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out. Right? And you're going to do that 5 times. Slow, deep breaths. Then you're going to place your hands on your heart and on your stomach, and you're going to repeat a mantra. And you're going to say, I am safe. I can rest. And I am not behind. Okay? I am safe. I can rest. And I am not behind. And then you can either do a regulating action. So like stretching, shaking, tapping, EFT tapping, humming, go walk around outside barefoot, right? Or before you do that, if you are a cannabis user, you can insert some intentional cannabis use here. So get your blunt, get your joint, get your vape, get your dab, whatever it is that you're doing, even your gummies, okay? And then do the regulating action. Now, just let me insert this here. If you are not familiar with tapping or, somatic practices or any of those things, make sure you follow me. Okay. I am on TikTok and Instagram at the Heather _ Nicole. I'm on Facebook as Heather Baker, and I share these tools with you guys. Okay. So make sure you check it out. But yeah, and it can be that's it, right? So you do your deep breaths, you ground yourself, you hold your body, you repeat your mantra, and then you either add some intentional cannabis use. And again, we're not getting fucking blazed, everybody. We're taking a couple hits, right? We're taking like 3 or 4 intentional hits, and then we're doing our regulating action. Okay. And I like to call this a back to me ritual, right? Because it brings me back to myself. It brings me back to feeling balanced. So those are all the tools I have for you guys. All right. You don't need hustle hacks. You need some nervous system nourishment. Okay. I know when people are like, oh, I want to learn, I need to stop being burnt out. Oh, so I need a better schedule. Like I need to organize more. I need to have better to-do lists. No, babe. You need to regulate your nervous system. You need to allow yourself to chill and not feel bad about it, right? You don't have to keep pushing through. You need to just pause with some purpose, right? Because this is about reclaiming your power. And how do you do that besides getting back to yourself? Okay. So I want to talk a little bit more before we finish up today about using cannabis for burnout recovery. All right. Because we need to talk about the plant, babe. Okay. Now, there's a lot of stigmas out there, right? That cannabis makes you lazy, right? That people, it's a gateway drug and all these things. I had some girl like really come at my throat on TikTok last week because I was posting about my cannabis rituals and how beneficial they are. And she just popped off about all these things. And I totally understand that there are harmful effects out there. Okay. If you have pre-existing mental health issues, this can exacerbate them. You know, and it's not for everybody. It is what it is. Okay. It works for me. It works for a lot of people I know. Has worked for many clients. Okay. So we're using this as a crutch, excuse me, not as a crutch. We're using it as a conscious choice, right? It's not some coping mechanism that we're using to numb out. We're using it intentionally, right? And that is the difference in what I teach versus, you know, normal recreational cannabis use, right? A lot of people use it to just, again, get completely fucking fried and numb out and ignore what's going on. And they just veg out in front of the TV. And look, I've been there, I've done it that way, right? But it's empty. It's completely unfulfilling, right? It doesn't feel good at the end of it, right? By infusing these cannabis rituals into my life, it has helped me elevate in so many fucking ways, right? Besides just getting high, it's elevating the way that I show up in my life. It's elevating the way that I communicate. It's elevating my connection with myself and with my emotions, right? And again, the whole difference here is intention, right? It's that intentionality behind the practice, right? Because cannabis is a nervous system tool, right? It works with your endocannabinoid system. And this is the system that helps you regulate your stress, your mood, your sleep, the pain. Okay. So cannabis works with that. And it helps you bring you out of that fight or flight mode. And it puts you into rest and digest mode, which is where we all want to fucking be, right? Right. It can also lower your cortisol, reduce inflammation, and it helps you calm down because you're slowing down, right? And again, we're not smoking 5 fucking blunts back to back and slowing down so much that we can't function. We're taking 4, 5, 6 intentional hits and doing the tools, all right? The most important part about using cannabis intentionally and not to escape is that we have to really make that connection. Okay. We have to be like, damn, am I using this to escape right now? Am I using this to numb out? Or am I actually doing something with it? Okay. And making that distinction is the whole thing. All right. You have to use weed to check in, not check the fuck out. All right. So let's give you an example of how you can use it to check in versus checking out. All right. So say you just have a really fucking stressful day. All right. You go home. Wait, let's do this first. The unintentional escaping way. You had a really stressful day at work. You go home, you light up a blunt, you smoke the whole fucking thing. Maybe you smoke a bowl afterwards. Maybe you take another gummy. You sit on your couch or in your bed, pop on Netflix, and you sit there and you forget about the day. And how do you feel afterwards? Probably pretty shitty, right? You're still tired. You feel like, damn, I didn't do nothing tonight, right? That's where the laziness stigma comes from, okay? But I can attest as a very successful pot smoker that it doesn't make you freaking lazy all the time, okay? So this is an example of what you could do instead of that if you are intentionally using cannabis. So you had a stressful day at work, you come home, you light your joint or your blunt. Again, you're taking intentional hits. You're taking 2, 3, 4 hits, okay? You put your hand on your heart, your hand on your stomach. Take some deep breaths, right? After you finish smoking, take some deep breaths. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? What will help me feel better right now? And you listen and you follow the nudge and you honor the answer. Okay, that, my friends, is being cannabis conscious. And that is fucking powerful. Okay. I hope that you guys are seeing how different it can be. Right. And a great way to really figure this out and notice what you're doing and how you're using cannabis is to start asking yourself, am I using this to escape or am I using it to expand? Just flat out ask yourself, right? Am I connecting to my truth or am I just numbing the noise? Right? And there's no shame in how you've used it before, but now you're being educated. So you get to evolve and you get to use it in a better way, right? Because remember, cannabis isn't the cure, it's a companion, right? It doesn't replace the work, it gives you space for the work, right? So when you pair cannabis with nervous system regulation, deep rest, and these strong as fuck boundaries, you become a woman who doesn't just survive burnout. Okay. She is alchemizing the burnout. All right. That brings me to the end. I hope that you guys found something in here that was useful to you. Please make sure that you use those tools, try them out. They will change the way that you show up. They will help you calm your system. And they will elevate you to the next level, right? Again, I want to thank House of Peach for allowing me this space to do that. Please make sure you follow me. Again, I am on Instagram and TikTok at the Heather _ Nicole. I have my podcast, Baked and Balanced, if you want to dive more into cannabis rituals and how you can use cannabis for healing. We just launched that last week, babes. So there are 3 episodes up there. Yesterday's episode was all about nervous system regulation, actually. So make sure you check that out, especially if this resonated with you. Right now, the podcast is on Spotify, so make sure you check that out. Also, I have a free weed ritual guide. Okay, it is called High and Healing, and it is available. If you go to any of my social media pages, it is linked there. And yeah, if you guys are ready to go further, if this again resonated with you, please reach out to me. I have a free Empowered as Fuck breakthrough sessions where we talk for 45 minutes. I give you some real actual tools that you can use, super personalized. And then if you feel called, we can talk about my 12-week coaching container that is called Bad Bitch Alchemy. And it is a one-on-one container where you and I work deeply together to unroot that trauma and to really alchemize it and help you empower yourself to be the woman that you were meant to be that bad bitch. Okay. Also, next month, okay, so September, second Saturday in September at 11 a.m., right here again, Baked and Balanced, we are going to be doing a bad bitch alchemy class. And we are going to be talking about trauma. We're going to be talking about where it comes from, how to, start overcoming it. We're going to get deep, y'all. We're going to get fucking deep. So make sure you tune in for that. I think that's it. I think that's all that I have for you guys. Again, thank you for being here today. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right. And I'll see you guys next month. Bye.